went from stuttering uncontrollably to speaking easily, even when under pressure. Now, if you have a similar problem, one of those annoying, pesky habits, behaviors that no matter what you do, you can't get rid of, this video is for you because I might have some really interesting information for you. In addition, what to do, what not to do, what's really going on about this problem. And yes, I am your guide who walked through the fire for you, for all of us. So, first of all, I'm sure you have been, for example, with this type of fear of public speaking or even stuttering, right? Isn't it interesting that when you are alone, you know exactly what you want to say, you have the right words, you know how you want to say it, you know the information you want to deliver, you know who you want to say it with, and in your imagination, in your vision while you're alone, you have so much clarity. It is so clear to you how you want to perform, how you want to be, and it seems so effortless, right? But the minute the spotlight is on you, or the minute you go on that date, or the minute you walk into that meeting, unfortunately, what happens is your throat closes up, heart palpitations, you start to get nervous, you start to get self conscious, you lose focus, right? Your mind goes blank, and you're like, what is going on? One of the most frustrating experiences. And if you have been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. First of all, let me tell you about this problem that, as frustrating as it is, and you might already have tried and done everything to overcome this, and I know very much what that feels like, because it's one of those, I want to get better, I want to help myself, I try to positive think, I try willpower, maybe I need more confidence. It is none of those things. What's going on here is actually no, and also you're not broken, you're not weak. This is your brain, and also your brain isn't broken, but it is overprotecting you. This is an important distinction to understand. Now, again, I know, as frustrating as it is, please, instead of barking up the wrong tree, because a lot of times people think, well, I just need more confidence, or I should just power through this, right? And the truth is, how has that been working for you? Or I should positive think my way out of it. This is not a thinking type of a problem. This is a biological problem, meaning this is something your subconscious is running. Your subconscious is running this program. Now, why, you might say? And also, please note, this has nothing to do with being weak or strong. It is not a personality or a character flaw. Okay, so stop beating yourself up about it. Stop being hard on yourself. Stop criticizing yourself, calling yourself. It's none of those things. Because the truth is, how has that been working for you? Yeah? Now, what's really going on is that, unfortunately, we're going to go a little bit deeper in this subject, but unfortunately, what's happening is that this is a survival program, a survival system that is running the show, that literally has confused social attention with danger. And it even has confused with eyes on you means danger on you, right? Now, but the question should be, wait a minute, but why am I the way I am? And how can I fix it? Now, those are much more useful questions, because number one, that implies we can fix it. And number two, there is a root cause. And as your hypnotherapist, I'm here to tell you that, what if I told you that most likely this is a problem that originated before the age of 7? And it all goes back to an experience, to a memory, something you experienced where you learned perhaps that speaking up is not a good idea. Maybe that's when you got the bad grade. Maybe that's when people were laughing about you. Maybe that's when people were pointing fingers at you. You felt embarrassed and ashamed. And I am way too familiar with those emotions, right? And so that's when your subconscious basically decided, you see, public speaking or speaking up or being loud or being heard equals punishment or equals bad or equals danger. And boom, that's when the program snuck in, and your subconscious decided that you need some sort of protection mechanism to prevent you from public speaking, because you might expose yourself to more danger. Now, remember, this happened within a split second. This happened unconsciously. This is not something you consciously decided with your logic and your reasonable thinking, but rather, this is something the subconscious did for you many, many years ago. And then, because this is such a deeply ingrained program, it is now running the show for you. And for a lot of people, this is not only running their life, but it is ruining their life. Good news is we can fix it. Okay? And look, this root cause, this memory, this experience, the history of this, it can literally show up in so many shapes and forms. Everybody obviously has a different story, but it's so important to understand that this is not a control or something that you need to learn how to control. This is something you need to know how to understand if you want to fix it. And to understand that no matter how much willpower and no matter how much you power yourself through that, that typically doesn't work because it requires a lot of effort. It requires, again, a lot of energy. And in the long term, it usually doesn't work because until we go in there and we upgrade your subconscious with a new program, with an upgrade, with a new input to help the subconscious understand, wait a minute, no, 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 no. Public speaking equals better opportunities. Public speaking equals being more visible. Public speaking equals getting paid more. Until we go into the subconscious and we have that sort of negotiation with it, it won't budge. So we need to get to that level. And that, once we do that, and we literally, it's literally like a negotiation between the conscious and the subconscious mind. And once we get these two into alignment, guess what happens? As if by magic, you begin to walk toward that meeting, or when the spotlight is on you, or when you are on that date, you actually start to feel confident. You feel calm. You are in control. And this is not magical. This is organic and natural because we gave your brain, your mind, and you update and you upgrade. And once it integrates all of that information into the subconscious, boom, we're done. This is like the easiest thing ever, right? Because now these two are working together instead of against each other. Because again, you know you're smart, but your body didn't get the memo yet, right? You know what your intentions are, but your body shuts you down. Do you see that in a conflict? So this is not serving you. And for that reason, we've got to go to the subconscious to give you that upgrade. And this is why so many people will complain to me, Susan, I've done everything. I've tried everything. I've tried cold turkey to quit this habit. I have tried to positive affirmation myself and positive thinking. Those are great things, but those all come from the conscious mind. We need to also include the subconscious, which is the seat of your emotions, your feelings, your beliefs, your programs, those programs that run on autopilot. And very often when it comes to this, for example, fear of public speaking or this stuttering that runs on autopilot, that is happening in the subconscious, out of your conscious awareness. And through hypnotherapy, we get to work with both. We get to work with the conscious mind, which is the part of you that makes decisions, is in charge of your willpower, is in charge of your logical, reasonable thinking. And the subconscious is in charge of your emotions, your behaviors, all those things that are on autopilot, right? The trigger, like those things that trigger us. Yeah, you can blame your subconscious for that. But even that, right? We can change that. So here is a little bit of homework for you. If you are open to it, if you want to start this process a little bit on your own, take a little bit of time for yourself where you can just be a bit quiet and you have a little bit of peace for yourself, right? And ask yourself, what was the moment, most likely when you were a child, where they might have shut me down, or I was an inconvenience, or I was too much, or I was not enough, or I got the bad grade, that might have caused me to, when that habit, so to speak, developed, right? And then we can go deeper and we can help you get the whole gist of the story, reframe, upgrade, update the program, and then you'll be on your way. Because again, the whole point of this Usually, the whole point of hypnotherapy, right, is to help you let go of whatever negative beliefs, emotions, habits, behaviors that you might still have stuck inside of you that are running the show, so to speak, on autopilot. But again, if you want that upgrade, the mistake people make that I often see is they think positive thinking or working harder or pushing themselves more or just repeating that behavior. And yes, the subconscious loves repetition, but first we need to give it the right input so that it knows exactly what program to repeat. And so the end result is finally living life on your terms, finally being able to go into that meeting, whether it's the spotlight, right? Feeling calm, confident, and in control. And that's a game changer. So I hope this helped you understand something fundamentally profound about you. I wanted to share this because I know so many people unfortunately have been either lied to, told things that are inaccurate. A lot of people think that this is a personality flaw or a character flaw, and it is not. It is just a program running the show. And this is often why something as simple as just hiring a coach or a mentor or even a therapist typically won't work because it's not as those things don't work as deep as we need to do it, which is at the level of the subconscious. Make sense? So if you like this type of information, like and follow for more. Also remember in my on my website, you can get a bunch of free goodies. Susan Urban Hypnotherapy. Feel free to check that out. One of the biggest downloads is the free self hypnosis guided session. It's about 10 minutes long or so that allows you to go from self sabotage to success. So go check that out, and I will see you later.